Welcome back to another video of mine. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you like the content, please like the video. Thank you very much. So on today's show, I'm basically going to talk about, I'm going to give my predictions for the games this weekend basically, but also a quick look at the draws that were made in Europe involving Shelbourne and St. Patrick's Athletic. I'm doing this video Tuesday evening, so by the time the video comes out, we'll know who Shamrock Rovers are going to play, I believe, in the next round. So I won't be obviously talking about that in this video, in case you're wondering. I haven't skipped Shamrock Rovers here at all. But we'll be talking about that, and also be talking about a little bit about Drogheda United and the fact that they're not going to be playing in Europe, unfortunately. So let's get into this one. So first up, guys, the Conference League. What a juicy tie that is. Shelbourne are going to play at Linfield of Northern Ireland. This is going to be a really, really juicy tie. It's north against south. It's a massive club, Linfield, in the north against Shelbourne in the League of Ireland. The first leg will take place at Talca Park on the 8th or 9th of July, with the return leg on the 15th, 16th of July. Absolutely looking forward to this one. And if you're a Shelbourne fan, let me know what you think of the draw in the comments. Are you actually happy with this draw? Is this a draw you welcome? I'd imagine it's a tie that Shelbourne fans would love to win but hate to lose, particularly. It's one of them, isn't it? And it's always meaty when a League of Ireland club faces a team from the Irish League. If you're a Linfield fan, happen to be watching this, by the way, let me know what you think in the comments as well. But it's certainly an interesting tie, isn't it? The other tie, I suppose less glamorous in many ways, was St. Patrick's Athletic have been drawn to play FC Hegelman from Lithuania in the first qualifying round of the UEFA Conference League. Again, dates and venues will be confirmed as soon as possible. They haven't actually announced any kind of date on that one, which is interesting compared to the Shelbourne one. But I suppose the tie that Pats, you'd think would be looking to win, like Shelbourne and their tie as well. Again, these won't be easy. And League of Ireland clubs still have to be able to perform, as we know. But Europe seems to bring the best out of Pats in recent years, you'd have to say. But again, let me know what you think in the comments if you're a St. Patrick's Athletic fan. Or again, if you're a Shelbourne fan, let me know what you think in the comments. Now on to Drogheda United. That's where we're going next, and unfortunately they lost their case sitting down Monday, and they found out obviously a couple of hours before they were playing Shamrock Rovers at Sullivan and Lamb Park. It's a major disappointment. We're missing out in the League of Ireland team. In Europe now we only have 3 teams, which is very disappointing for me. Massive disappointment for everyone involved in the club. Massive disappointment for the League of Ireland community, in my view. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're not a Drogheda fan as well. And I seen the interview, one of the interviews, I think it was the off the ball one. Yeah, it was actually with Kevin Doherty, and my heart went out to him, to be honest with you. He was extremely emotional, nearly drawn to tears, to be honest with you. And you can see he's really, it's really got to him. He's still in an emotional state over it, and the players, I'm sure, and the fans, of course, and everyone involved in the club must be massively disappointed with that. And there's something as well I just want to talk about quickly. I'm just going to read out a snippet of this, and just came out today. I think it was Dan McDonnell today, meaning Tuesday. Headline for a start is that FAI admits it didn't send important UEFA circular on multi-club ownership to Drogheda United, because there's been a bit of to and fro with blame, and you probably look at it and say everyone deserves some of the blame. But I'll just read out. I'm not going to read out everything. It's quite lengthy, but I'll read out some of it here. Yes, so Chairperson Joanne Byrne has revealed that the European governing body sent out a circular to all member associations on October 7th, 2024, but that the document wasn't forwarded to Drogheda United. Speaking on Tuesday morning with emotions still running high, the DROGS chairperson and Loud TD said, the FAI have said that they never sent on the circular to the club. They have admitted that, and that was part of our defence. They have done everything they can to support us over the last few weeks, and we have a great relationship with them. There had been no communication from anyone, and UEFA couldn't say otherwise. Other clubs have been communicated with directly, and there had been leeway given to bigger clubs. Well, we knew this. I mean, I mentioned that in the video, didn't I? This is not only devastating for us, but for Irish football as a whole. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, the leeway to bigger clubs is something I'd mentioned before. But anyway, the circular is understood to have outlined the changes in dates for compliance with multi-club ownership rules, crucially stating in the last line, the change has been approved and communicated early to enable clubs to prepare and ensure their compliance with multi-club ownership criteria stipulated in Article 5.01 ahead of the new deadline for the 2025-2026 season. Having not received the document, Drogheda and Trivela were operating on the previous season's timelines. Yeah, I mean, Drogheda United miss out on 500 grand, actually more than 500 grand, but 525 grand, I believe, and this as well. And it's extremely disappointing. And I know Joanne there said they've a good relationship with the FAI, but I mean, they've mucked up here big time, and it's been very costly to everyone involved at Drogheda United. Like, what is it? Like, is it a case of oops from the FAI? Oops, we did it again. I actually am lost for words on that. Really, it's that's going to make Drogheda, that's going to annoy Drogheda United fans a lot more, in my opinion. To be honest with you, let me know what you think in the comments. By the way, if you're a Drogheda United fan or just a League of Ireland fan on this, because the fact the FAI, oops, we forgot to tell you there's a new deadline essentially. And you might say, but they've admitted their mistake. It's a big mistake. It's a huge mistake, isn't it? I just don't know. It's just not good enough. It's just like, how many times do we have to sit here and say it's just not good enough from the FAI? This is pretty basic, no? You know, UEFA informed them. Why didn't they inform the club, Drogheda United, about this, about the change of dates with compliance? Why didn't they do it? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Their upcoming fixture against Sligo Rovers on Friday. Even more Friday and Monday games. I won't be talking about the Monday games yet, but again, more Friday and Monday games here. Big game for both sides. Sligo Rovers will be delighted with their win last time out. Fantastic win at home to Waterford, and they'll be hoping to kick on in this game. Thought defended really well in that game. They go to Drogheda United, where obviously they were beaten 7 last season, which still probably haunts them. But they got to go with a bit of confidence. They've got some good attacking players. Warwood scored the last day, which was brilliant for them. Owen Elding, as we know, is a handful, and they defended quite well. They do have good young players in defence. I think sometimes they lack a bit of experience there, but they do have good young players in Reynolds and McElroy in particular in defence there, and. But they'll be going to Drogheda to try and attack them as best they can. And they're going to have to be careful, because if they do that, they're going to have to be careful, because Drogheda are very, very strong on the counter-attack and have a number of options. Josh Thomas may well be back for this game. You've got Thomas Alou who can come in, Dougie James Taylor, Warren Davis. There's 4 attackers to play 2 up front. All of them are a threat. So they are. Drogheda in midfield. I thought Ryan Brennan, I mentioned in the previous show, I think was outstanding against Pats. He's changed his game, basically, and he's really adapted in a new role in midfield, and we can see the intelligence, the work rate is there, but the intelligence is there as well to match that work rate. So the midfield will be crucial. I do think Drogheda might get on top of midfield with himself, Markey, potentially Lucchini, whoever plays in there. Or Shane Farrell, you know what I mean, whichever the three play there for this game. I do fancy to get Drogheda to be on top of midfield, and there's a couple of players there with Sligo Rovers who I think Doyle Hayes is a player that maybe I would have expected a bit more this season from, to be honest with you, and so good defensively, Drogheda, we know that too. Elisha is going to be out for a little while. So prediction wise, what am I going to go for in this one? I'm going to go for Drogheda United to win this game. I'll go for Drogheda United 2, Sligo Rovers 1. Give us a prediction or two in the comments. Now, at Eamon DC Park, we have Galway United taking on St Patrick's Athletic, and obviously St Patrick's played on Monday against Shelbourne, were beaten 1-0 at home, which was a very disappointing result for them, despite that was their first home defeat of the season. But Pats performed quite well in the second half against Shells, couldn't find the back of the net unfortunately, but again, left a half behind them for me. They did big time, and some players I think, are really letting them down. The work rate and desire department at the moment. They're badly missing Chris Forrester. McClelland and Lennon again played in midfield, but McClelland is a hard worker actually, to be fair to him, but he's not a central midfielder. And particularly against Shells, he was kind of drifting out and leaving holes in the middle and leaving out Lennon very isolated actually, which was huge. Barry Bagley did come on later on and did well actually in midfield for Pat, so they'll be hoping that maybe he can push on in that regard. And players like Breslin, Mulroney were taken off at half time, and it'll be interesting to see if they appear in this particular game. I have a feeling Jay McClellan will play in this game, but I think he'll go to left back. Bagley will come back in. It'll be interesting to see if they go with Mealy and Keane up front as opposed to one of them up front. That's going to be really interesting as well. Galway, we know, play three at the back and are very strong there. And that's the one thing Galway look to do. They look to bully Pats. They're a far bigger physical team as well, but they work, and they could do it a win themselves, if I'm honest. They've picked up a couple of good results on the road, returned to Aim and DC will want to get a win. They know if they win, they're only 2 points behind the Saints with 2 games in hand. So it's a massive, massive game for Galway United. And, there's a lot to be learned this season, I think, in regards Pats. And I think Stephen Kenny's learned a lot. He's learned a lot more from this part of the season, this season, I think, than he had in that brilliant run they had last year. I said it before, I think it was possibly the worst thing that could have happened in many ways for them. But I think Kenny's learned a lot about the players. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of windows there, who's going to leave the club particularly. I think Forrest is obviously a massive loss. I don't think he'd be available for this game either. I know some Pats fans have a weird relationship with Forrester, if you like, but he's not in the team. You notice how much of a difference he is. Him, Jack Byrne, Dawson Devoy are probably the 3 best footballing midfielders in the league. He's a massive loss, huge loss. So God will go into the game pretty confident. Moses Dyer's on 9 goals. He'll want to hit 10, of course. Hickey be looking to get back into the goal scoring frame, I think, as well. And they're so good at the back. They'll hope they have their dream team backline, if you like, Bruder, Slevin, and Cunningham in the back 3, I think, with Asue and Bobby Burns, who's 4 assists this season, in fact, wing back. So, yeah, an interesting game. I think Galway will win it. I think they'll overpower Pats. I'm going to go for Galway United 2, St Patrick's Athletic 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, at Tolka Park, of course, Shelbourne beat Derry City 3-1 at Tolka in the first day of the season. They meet again at Tolka Park, and Shelbourne will be buoyed by that, no, not Sean Boyd, by that 1-0 win in Inchicore against St Patrick's Athletic, where I thought in the first half Shelbourne controlled the match. In the second half they dug deep. First half they controlled the match and played through the middle, scored a good goal from their point of view. And they'll be looking to get back-to-back victories, something they haven't done. Have they even done it this season? Can't think of the top of my head. But if they haven't done it for a while. And Paddy Barrett being back is huge, by the way. I was watching him there in the Pats game as well, and apart from his leadership and his defending, I mean, he can ping balls, like, you know what I mean, to Sean Boyd's feet. Do you know what I mean? Which is massive. And again, if Boyd can play as well, that's massive as well, because he's such a handful, Boyd, and he's a clever forward as well. So if they can get them two in the team, I think it gives them an edge, doesn't it, Shelbourne, to be fair. Gannon as well, potentially. I know Caffrey's been playing brilliantly at wing back, but you kind of think, can you get Gannon into that team maybe as a right centre back, perhaps, if you're going to play that system? So he came on as a sub against against Pats actually as well. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see if Shelbourne can. They showed a lot of steel in the second half against Pats, and I think they defended very well when they had to in the game, really dug deep and showed a lot of character in the end to get results. They were on top in the first half, as I said. Derry City, we're only 2 points behind Shells with 2 games in hand, so if they could come to Falkirk Park and get a win here, they'd leapfrog Shelbourne and have 2 games in hand, and suddenly their outlook looks really, really good. Again, their aim has to be to try and get into Europe. You know, they've rotated a lot of players. There's talk that Dom Thomas might be leaving the club as well. Only signed recently, and they'll certainly want to play an awful lot better to the way they played in the opening day of the season, because that was very, very poor. Should have been more than 3-1 actually as well, shouldn't it? So, aside from that, the games at Talca Park between Shells and Derry City are always very, very tight. You're talking 0-0s and the odd 1-0, really. So I think we're going to see something like that here again. I just have a weird feeling that Derry City are going to go to Shells and pick up the 3 points here. So I'm going to go for Shelbourne 0, Derry City 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, the RSC, Waterford FC take on Bohemians. Really, really interesting game. Bows and Shamrock Rovers play on Monday. So it'd be really, really interesting if Bows could either close the gap or obviously keep the gap the way it is. We've got 2 games in hand as well. There's 9 points between them. So they'll be looking to go to the RSC and pick up 3 points. That's exactly what they did earlier on in the season when they won by 3-0. Colin Whelan hat-trick and 2 penalties was enough to give them that victory, which was a rare good win at the time, at that point of the season, in what was a very inconsistent start. That was a rare good win for Bows, and it was seen as a surprise at the time. John Coleman's side haven't been getting the results in recent weeks, haven't been playing terribly though, I have to say. They haven't been playing terribly, but they are missing players from injury, the likes of Andy Boyle and Osby Casper at the back. Both fans know about him, and they're a little bit short in that regard. But Alawinka in the middle of the park's playing really, really well for them as well. And look, if you've got Lonergan and Hammond up front, you're definitely a threat up front, and Bowles will have to watch that. Bowles will be missing Sean Grehan. Sean Grehan has returned to Crystal Palace, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Cornwall come in alongside Kavanagh. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, he has been brilliant for them. But Bowles have been playing really well, playing with a lot of confidence. I expect them to keep that up going into this game. But as I said, Waterford haven't been playing terribly, and it could click for them on the day. They could easily pick up 3 points, let alone a point. But my sense is that Bows are just going to keep going until they play Shamrock Rovers at Dalymount on Monday, and they might pick up the win here. Wouldn't surprise me if it clicked for Waterford either, I have to say. It's definitely not. It's a difficult game for Bows. They will have to play well, but something tells me they are going to play well and continue their form. I go for goals in this game though. I think it'll be Waterford FC 2, Bohemians 3. Let me know what you think in the comments. At the stadium, Shamrock Rovers take on Cork City, and it's top against bottom for a start. It's top against bottom. It's Shamrock Rovers who were seriously in form coming into this game. Picked up a really good win at Sullivan Park against Drogheda also on Monday, which was a very, really good win for them. And they're really coming into this game with a lot of confidence, serious form, serious. Trevor Clark is back, etc. Like, they've got serious options. Nearly everyone's available pretty much. So with the Friday and Monday, and this is no disrespect to Cork City, but it's just the way Shamrock Rovers are playing at the moment. Massive game against Bows on Monday, and they've got so many good players fit who are on the bench. They could well rotate in this game, and I won't say look ahead to the game on Monday, but definitely with one eye to the game on Monday. I mean, if you look at their midfield options, they could play Dylan Watts instead of Jack Byrne. They could not play Graham Burke. They could play Mandrew, etc., etc. Who do they play up front? Gaffney Noonan, who plays then on Monday. Aaron Green is there, So they've got so many good options. They can actually afford. They're one of the few teams that can say, we're going to make 4 or 5 changes and then another further 4 or 5 changes for the game on Monday and still be reasonably pretty much as strong as they are. Particularly, as I said, the fact that practically everyone's fit. It could be a very difficult game for Cork City. They really struggled at home to Bows. Did have some chances, as I mentioned, that game, but they were overran as well. The way Rovers are playing at the moment, I'd be shocked if Cork City get something out of this game. And, Sean Maguire still doesn't look fully fit for me. But they'd be hoping that they can get something out of him in this game. They'll certainly have to create the chance for him. Defensive looked porous recently. Well, Cork City fans probably tell you all season, but just I'm talking about recent games more so as well. You know, in terms of giving them something coming into this game, it's very difficult to see them get a result. I think Shamrock Rovers might win this one comfortably. And if they're in a comfortable position, they might even make a couple of more changes going into the game on Monday. But one eye in that game Monday against Bows, I think they'll win it comfortably. Shamrock Rovers 3, Cork City 0. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments as usual. Fling us a few predictions. Let me know what you think about the Drogheda situation, the draws in Europe, etc., etc. Thanks for watching again. Bye bye.